Hi friends, it's Tracy from the Financial Freedom Diary, and today we are back to close out my sinking funds for the month of March. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. Hope y'all are having a super fantastic day. I am going to pull out February's sinking fund sheet so I can use it for March. I'm trying to make sure that my camera has something to focus on because I don't notice it until I'm editing, because I tend to have tunnel vision and so all I see is here. From my perspective, I don't look up and see that the screen is going nuts. So we're going to pull this sheet out. Don't tear it up. If you don't know, I'm a little bit heavy-handed, so I'm going to leave that there. Alright, so for the month of March, I didn't have a lot of transactions. I've been working on trying to get my sinking funds up because I don't have that much money set aside, and every time it seems like I have an expense, especially for my car. That junk is like expensive. So I'm working on that. So this month, medical and electronics took a hit. I didn't need to take anything out of moving because my co-worker, her mom moved, and I got a bunch of boxes from her mom, and so she's been packing up some more for me to come and pick up. So that has saved me a lot of money, and I do appreciate her. I know I'm joking and kikiing and stuff, but I do appreciate her because it is a little expensive getting boxes and stuff. And I've seen the companies that other people have used where they just like set the things, it's like containers, they set them up, pack them, and then break them down and ship it back to the company when they're done. I haven't been able to find any such place in Memphis though. So March 4th at Walmart, I spent $20.42. This was for my son in medical. It's for his allergies and sinus issues and stuff like that. So I went and got him some Zyrtec and some nasal spray. He and we don't use the same allergy pills. The ones he take, I don't know, after a while they don't work for me. And then I'm going to jump down here to the last one. March 7th, I went to the Apple store and I got my battery replaced on my phone, so that was $53.78, and that's going to buy me some time with my little phone. And then on March 17th, I went to Walgreens and in medical, and I spent $27.96, and that was on my oldest son. He has sinus headaches. Doesn't have allergies, but he does get really bad sinus headaches when the weather shifts. So I always have to make sure he has what he needs. And then on March 17th, that was my first visit at the chiro place, and that came out of medical, and that was $30 for that very first visit. And they just did the x-rays, and I got to use the TENS machine and stuff like that. So that was what that visit was about. And now let's look at my March sheet here. Always sounds like I'm about to cuss when I say sheet, and I do enough cussing on my own, let's be real. Me and my spicy language. So in gifts, I ended February with $196.62, and I added $160, and I didn't spend anything out of that category. And so let's see what my ending balance is going to be. Trying to watch this thing and see what it focuses on. 196.62 plus 160. And so my ending balance is, this has got to move, 356.62. And my first birthday is going to be in May. My youngest son, he'll be 23. And in medical, let's see, I ended February at 82.85, 82.85, and I added $40. We used all of that up. That's why I'm laughing. It's like, oh, we ain't got no money. 20.42 plus 27.96 plus 30. And so I spent $78.38. And my other visits from this past week, those 3 visits, they went on my FSA. So if you're wondering why I didn't take those out, that's why. 82.85 plus $40 minus 78.38. So I have $44.47 left. There. The next one is going to be subscriptions. But yeah, so far so good. My first week down. Feeling a little, you know, I've been sitting at my desk all day today. So, my neck is a little bit tight, but that's normal for me. 83.18. I think that's also the one thing that is hard for me to get used to. So in subscriptions, I add $40. And I am using the amounts I have here as my deposit, because from one month to the next, they stay the same. That helps me. Y'all know I don't do well with a lot of variance. 83.18 plus 40. And that gives me $123.18. I hope y'all can't hear that traffic on the interstate. You would swear it was right outside my window. The next one is my clothing. And I ended February with $44.95. I added $10. And so I am at $54.95. And we have car maintenance. Yeah, this is the category where I just get so anxious, because it's like, oh God, please don't let anything happen. I had $100 at the end of February. I added another $100, and so I'm at $200 in car maintenance. And insurance. And I know my car insurance, my 6 months, should be due in July. $428.80. And I'm adding $130 for this month. And I'm not doing that. $428.8 plus $130. And it's $558.80 is what I have left. And I meant to tell y'all that I got another call from the corporate lady. Now, I thought the corporate lady didn't work with this new rental company. I thought that person I talked to was with BH Management, which they were the previous, what you call them? Like, they run the property, but they just don't own it. I forgot what they call it. So I thought she was with them, but she is with the people who actually own the place. And she was trying to figure out like who called me and all this other stuff that was talking smart to me. So for household, I had $154.66. And household is the one that does dairy. So yeah, I need to look that up. Yeah, I need to get that under control. So that's $100 I added there. But like I told her, I'm like, I don't know, because I never met Chris, never spoke to Chris, so I didn't have a reference. So whoever this person that told me their name was Chris, they're Chris. I said, but when I did talk to Chris, it was a drastic difference in attitude and everything else. So I told her I had questions, you know. Ask me questions, let me ask you questions. And so my thing was, if I put in, because I have no way of getting anybody to pay attention to what I'm experiencing, and I do the survey, I have asked for the property manager to call me. Why would you have the ticket go to the maintenance person who caused the problem in the first place? Make that make sense. It don't make no sense. 23, 28, 55. All right, and moving should have got another $1,200, so I'm just going to double check. Yeah, $300 from paycheck 1 and $900 from paycheck 2. So it's another 12. And I told her that's the part that doesn't make sense, is the expectation for me to keep jumping through a million hoops, to call people and go to offices and send emails when I'm doing all of that. 3528.55 is what I have in a moving fund. And so I'm like, if I'm doing all of that and I'm not getting the response, and then somebody calls me being nasty, time to escalate. So travel has $1,200 in it. You know, and it's not just to be mean to anybody, but it's like at some point I didn't add anything to travel. And so that's going to be $1,200. It's still sitting there. But it's like at some point, people have to do their jobs. And I told her she was on several emails when they were supposed to have contractors install the air conditioner. So that's part of why I have no empathy and no sympathy. And the maintenance people sent the contractors next door. I sent an email and said, that's weird. Why would they send them next door? Because I happen to be downstairs, so you can hear clear if you're downstairs or somebody's outside talking. So I opened up the door. They were like, no, we're supposed to go to this address. And I'm like, no, this is, and I gave them my address. And so they go up in there. Some went here, some went next door. And they were like, there's nothing wrong with next door. So the contractor, I guess he was the guy that was in charge, he cussed that man out. So electronics, I had $250 at the end of February. Did I add $50? Well, I can't remember nothing. $250. I had it just $50. Yep. So I'm like, he cussed them out. So I remember hearing that, and he was asking him, why did you send us to the wrong address? So that was $53.78 that I spent at that Apple store. $53.78. And the guy was just like giggling, like nervous giggling. And I'm like, I knew he was talking to somebody on his headset. So I had $246.22 left in my electronics fund. $246.22. There. So let me add these up. But my thing was, why is the expectation on me, the resident, to keep contacting, keep emailing, keep going through this when I spent a whole winter without properly functioning heat? The Tennessee has like a legal statute. It's called the minimum of thermal standards that every place you rent is supposed to abide by. So you're supposed to be able to get your heat up to 68 degrees. And so I'm like, you can't do that downstairs in the wintertime, because the colder it is outside, you can never get downstairs up to 68. But upstairs gets too hot, especially now my son's room, and then I'm blocked off the air to this room. So there's nothing you can do. So I'm like, what more do you want from me? Now you want me to play Inspector Gadget to say that, it was Alex on the phone. I'm like, I don't know who that was on the phone. I said, I know when he started talking, he said his name was Chris. He introduced himself as Chris right off the bat. So somebody was lying. Alright, so I started out with 4869.61, which matches what I ended with. 4869.61. Alright, and my total deposits, 160, 40, 40, 10, 100, 130, 100, 1200, sorry, and 50. So 1830 went to my sinking funds. So my question to her was, when I told you something was weird last year, why didn't you ever respond? 2, I had told her the process was not right. Like, you shouldn't allow maintenance to be able to close it. They should be able to say they completed a ticket, but the resident should have to go back in a ticket and say if the fix was completed to their standards. If you got an older resident who probably can't, or doesn't know because they do have people who've been here for like 30 plus years, that can't do that or don't know how to do that, then after it's been sitting dormant, it should send an email to somebody in the office. That person should reach out to see if it was completed to their satisfaction. If it wasn't, what's still wrong? You know, and that would take it out of maintenance hands. So I spent a total of $132.16 for the month, which is less than last month. Last month I spent $141.45. It takes it out of maintenance hands, where, you know, like they're with the foolishness. Get my little post-it here. I don't know what these numbers. Oh, that's my it's my number from last month. Somebody get choked. But it takes it out of their hands, and now it's back in the office. And 132.16. So I should have 67.45. Yay. Because I'm adding that to like the emergency funds, just in case something really bad goes wrong. That's what I'm looking at. So what I just did was the math going across, which was 4869.61 plus 1830 minus 132.16, and that gave me 6567.45. Now I also like to add it going down, so it's like vertical, horizontal, and make sure the numbers match in both directions. So 356.62 plus 44.47 plus 123.18 plus 54.95 plus 200 plus 558.8 plus 254.66 plus 35, 28.55 plus 1200 plus 246.22. 67.45. So woo. But you know, like I had told them how their process, it just doesn't work, and it leaves it up to people who are not, you know, they don't have any, they're not bothered by doing something shady, right? They don't want to do the job anyway, and she was the person who told me that. So it's like, you know, they don't want to do the job because of how the loft space is in the townhomes and stuff like that. It's uncomfortable for them. I get it, I understand. But here's the thing. What does that have to do with the resident? So they're tearing up stuff, creating work for themselves that they don't want to do, and the resident is expected to be understanding. And I'm like, no, all understanding went out the window because y'all did that with no problems. And I'm like, I've been to the office. I called. I got my emails. I got screenshots from my phone. I got all this stuff. So I told her, I said, I takes nothing back from code enforcement. I'm just thankful they finally freaking followed up with them. And then to find out that there's more people. And I'm wondering how many of those people, you guys, because if y'all remember last August or September, after I had spoke to that girl who came running up on me with her crazy self, and she told me there was like 4 or 5 people ahead of me, people without refrigerators and stuff like that. Like, how many of those people who had air conditioner problems, so 4 or 5 that were ahead of me, called code enforcement this winter? You know, like, how many of them were affected? So that's what I'm curious about. But anywho, y'all, thank y'all so much for watching. So yeah, the sinking funds are building up. 65, 67. I am feeling so much better because, yeah, there's nothing like, you know, starting off and the only thing in savings you got was what you had while you were paying off debt. I don't know, like, it didn't bother me then, but it was definitely bothering me now. But thank y'all so much for watching. I'll be back on Tuesday. I have paid my utility bill, so we'll be closing out my budget. And y'all have a super fantastic Sunday. Y'all have a great one. Bye.